Anyone else just gets this urge that they really, really miss the international break all of a sudden? Just me? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron Kelly, you're very welcome back to another episode of the Premier League Verdict. It's been a while since we've had a video, 2 weeks since we've had an actual, I've uploaded YouTube shorts since then, but since we've had a full-blown video, life has been a bit wild recently. I've been here, there and everywhere. I've barely had a chance to breathe between college work, actual work and just life in general. YouTube has unfortunately taken a little bit of a backseat in the last 2 weeks. I would have loved to get some more videos out over the international break, but due to other circumstances, that was not possible. So we are back now. There's going to be 2 videos this week. The Verdict, obviously, that you're watching right now, and the goal recreations for March. It's not only just recorded, it's edited, and it's ready to go for Thursday evening for you lot to enjoy. So we are officially back. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into our boxes for this match week of the Premier League. Starting off with our green box then, and as much as it pains me to say it, Tottenham Hotspur were absolutely excellent against Newcastle. A 5-1 victory at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And, you know, a lot of us probably would have felt Newcastle have turned the corner, and to a degree they have. They're well out of relegation trouble, but my God, they were awful against Tottenham on Sunday, who I will say are really coming good. And obviously Antonio Conte did say a couple of weeks ago that he believes it would be a miracle for Tottenham to finish in the top 4. Look at them now after the weekend's results, in the top 4 and only 5 points behind the European champions Chelsea. It's quite an uplift in fortunes. Obviously a lot of that down to the fact that Conte is now able to get the best out of Harry Kane. He's obviously being massively praised at the minute due to his passing ability, the amount of assists he is getting. And the man is just an absolute baller. Obviously, he's not getting, you know, the stats in terms of goals scored, which we're used to seeing from Harry Kane over the last couple of years. But he is really starting to contribute to the team a lot more than he has done for the whole season. And he's starting to get the best out of some of these players, like Harry Kane, like Matt Doherty, like I already mentioned, the likes of Eric Dyer, Ben Davis as well, who may have looked to have been surplus to requirements. Maybe not obviously Harry Kane, because, you know, we know his quality, but he's getting the best out of these players. And Tottenham have a really good chance now of finishing the top 4. Obviously they've got a couple of really tough games left. Obviously a North London derby coming up in a couple of weeks, and that is going to be absolutely massive in deciding who finishes in the Premier League's top 4. But in my opinion, Tottenham are well up there. They're scoring unbelievable goals, they're playing beautiful football, and they are really, really enjoyable to watch. As much as it pains me to say it, they are enjoyable to watch at the minute. You have to admit what you are seeing when you are seeing it. I understand that a lot of this video is going to be concentrated on the top 4 race, and that's because there was a lot of twists and turns in it this weekend, and the yellow box certainly adds to that. Obviously Chelsea lost, which, you know, I've probably given away the stinker box already from the title and thumbnail, and now in my words that are coming out of my mouth. But Chelsea's result, which we will talk about, did obviously open up the door for Arsenal last night to not only leapfrog Tottenham, who had just overtaken them after that win against Newcastle, but move within 2 points of Chelsea. And considering they already still have to play Chelsea before the end of the season, that would have been a massive feat in my opinion. They come up against a Crystal Palace side who I think have surprised a lot of people this season, including me. I think Patrick Vieira's come in and he has done an absolutely fantastic job. I think he's rejuvenated that squad, brought in a lot of good young players. Obviously the loan players have been big for him as well, but he has got that side playing some wonderful football. Obviously they're getting results, they're well clear of any sort of relegation trouble, which would have been the worry I think for Crystal Palace at the start of the season, coming into a new era off the back of Roy Hodgson leaving. Patrick Vieira's come in and he's really steadied that ship, and he's got Crystal Palace playing wonderful football. They picked up a 3-0 victory over Arsenal last night, and they fully deserved it. That's the funny thing about it. Arsenal not at the races at all, and you have to give credit where it's due to Arsenal. They have been really, really good all the way through the month of March. Obviously, Mikel Arteta gets manager of the month, which a lot of people question maybe Thomas Tuchel should have got it, but I'm not really too bothered about that, to be honest with you. And luckily, Thomas Tuchel isn't either. But Arsenal have been unbelievable for the last month and a half. I think the turn of the year they have been one of the form sides in the Premier League, and I do think last night was just an off night for them. I still think they're well within the hunt, and I think Arsenal fans are, you know, they've still got to keep their faith alive that Arsenal still get top 4, can get top 4, because they obviously can. They're so well within the hunt. But Palace were excellent, weren't they? Mateta, Ayew, and then a second half Wilf Zaha penalty. That penalty actually really important in the game, because I think Arsenal started off the second half really well. I think it was relentless wave after wave pressure that Palace had to deal with, and it was tough, but they saw it out. and they relied on the quality that Zaha has on the break. He was fouled by Odegaard, and he was composed enough to stick away the penalty for an incredible Crystal Palace 3-0 win. And in any other really normal Premier League weekend, I do think Crystal Palace would have got the green box this week. But it was such a shock. I genuinely predicted 3-0 Arsenal, and again, that's no disrespect to Crystal Palace. I just think Arsenal have been so good over the last month, and I really did think this was going to be another routine game for them, because Palace really don't have an awful lot to play for, and that's obviously what Patrick Vieira would have been looking for at this stage of the season. They don't want to be worrying about any sort of relegation issues, but Arsenal were just not at the races at all from start to finish, just overly poor. But I do believe they will bounce back within the coming weeks. That brings us on to our stinker of the week then, and we've already mentioned it, Chelsea. I think this will be a lot more of an angry rant stinker box if the circumstances hadn't played out the way they did and Arsenal didn't go within 2 points of Chelsea. I still think it's not really a time to panic. As a Chelsea fan, I do think that, you know, it kind of reminded me of our defeat to West Brom in and around this time last season, a 5-2 defeat. And even, you know, when that happened, you know, usually I'd be like, oh my god, that's fucking terrible, this and that. But realistically, I remember at the time I was like, we were going well in the Champions League, I think, at the time as well. And, you know, I did see it at the time as just a blip. And right now, I do see this thumping that Brentford gave us. I do see it as just a blip at the minute. A big blip. It's a terrible, terrible result. But if Chelsea can come back and bounce back tomorrow evening and beat Real Madrid in the Champions League, which is, you know, one thing, a quick changeover that the squad have to prepare for mentally, I think this Brentford game will be quickly forgotten. Full credit to Brentford, by the way. They were absolutely excellent, and it's one praise that I and a lot of people have had about Brentford this season is how fearless they have been. Obviously, coming into the Premier League, playing in the Premier League for the first time, this team under Thomas Frank, they have been absolute. They don't really give a shit who they're playing against. They play the exact same way. Kind of reminds me of Sheffield United when they came up and had a really good season. Obviously, when the season stopped halfway through, I think Sheffield United were well in the hunt for even Champions League that season, which possibly isn't a great omen for Brentford next season, but we'll cross next season's bridge when we get there. I just thought they were absolutely excellent. The goals they scored, I mean, look, definitely the Wissa goal, the last one, very sus defensively from both Thiago Silva and Rudiger, who, you know, it's not really something I say much about them two at all. They're usually two of the most reliable heads in the team and in football in general. Obviously, Antonio Rudiger, by the way, kicked off the game in the second half with an absolutely terrific strike. But how many times have we said about Antonio Rudiger? He goes on those dribbles, he shoots from crazy distances, and he comes very close so often. This time he beats Raya to give Chelsea the lead, but it all completely fell apart from there with Janelt scoring twice. Christian Eriksen, I mean, what a signing he is proven to be. I said it exactly actually when Eriksen came on and made his debut, I think it was against Newcastle, that if Brentford can get the even a percentage of the version of Christian Eriksen that was at Tottenham, that has been brilliant for Denmark. They have a wonderful signing on their hands. Obviously, he made his return to the Danish national team during the international break and scored with pretty much his first touch back with a terrific finish. This was a great finish as well, great breakaway. But something we've seen from Chelsea too often is being caught out from corners, like our own corners. Teams counter-attacking quickly on us. I think Jadon Sancho scored a goal against us earlier on this season, which was from a similar one. I remember Martinelli a couple of seasons ago from them attacking positions or attacking corners. But yeah, what a fantastic result for Brentford. Obviously, they were kind of been down, threatening joining that relegation scrap, but that result of the weekend, absolutely wonderful. And luckily, Chelsea weren't punished by Arsenal. We still have that 5-point gap, and we have a game in hand on Tottenham as well, which we still have to play Arsenal as well, which is going to be a big game. And I think if Chelsea do win that, I think top 4 anyway, shouldn't even be in the question anyway, but it is now in the question. I think, you know, that should be put to bed if we manage to beat Arsenal. But our next exploits and our attention turns to Real Madrid tomorrow. So I might have a little video up tomorrow. Not sure. We'll see. I might have a YouTube short. It'll be one or the other. But keep an eye out for that. But also keep an eye out for the goal recreation series returning on Thursday. We are recreating 3 of the best goals scored throughout March, myself and Mr. Grivach. So you know it's going to be a banger. So subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video. If you disagree with any of the boxes as usual, please do let me know. I'd love to have an old debate in the comment section down below. And yeah, we'll see you on Thursday for the goal recreations.